sea to shining sea. Oh, he crowned thy good, yes he did, with brotherhood. From sea to shining sea, God bless America.
I'm pleased to join you today for Operation Homecoming, USA's tribute to America's Vietnam veterans. Over the past week, you've been honored with parades and reunited with former comrades. This tribute is well-deserved and expresses our nation's heartfelt gratitude to all who fought for freedom in Vietnam. We thank all the soldiers and sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen who risked their lives to serve our country. We thank your families who supported you in your vital mission. We thank the courageous prisoners of war who endured torture and abuse. We honor all who were injured in the line of duty, and each of the more than 58,000 Americans who gave their lives in freedom's cause in Vietnam. America will never forget them, and we will never forget those who remain missing in action. We will keep searching until every missing service member has been accounted for. You fought for our flag and brought honor to the uniform, and you have set a great example for the men and women of today's armed forces. In the war on terror, they're carrying on your legacy of selfless service and courage under fire. I know you share America's pride in them, and that you support them as they defend us from dangerous enemies. In Washington, D.C., a Vietnam vet named Steve Cobb comes out regularly to Andrews Air Force Base with his wife, Tanya, to greet wounded service members returning from Iraq and Afghanistan. Steve earned 4 Purple Hearts and a Silver Star in Vietnam. This is what he says: "When I came home, there was nobody but demonstrators to meet our troops. I never wanted to see another generation of troops come home without being welcomed and appreciated. On any given day, you can find Vietnam vets like Steve, giving our returning troops the welcome and appreciation they deserve. This week, America stops to express our appreciation to each of you. Thank you for your idealism, your courage, and your sacrifice.
When the men from Desert
America's
Storm
grateful for
returned,
your service.
the city
So
of
is your
Dallas
Commander-in-Chief.
decided to host a welcome home
God bless
parade.
you all."
They called Ross for help, and he made it happen. And as a side note, when he asked the Desert Storm troops what they thought about including the Vietnam vets in the parade, the Desert Storm troops told him absolutely yes, but only if the Vietnam vets marched first in front of them. They said to Ross, "We fought a 100-hour war. They fought a much longer, tougher war. We will march behind them."
Yes, indeed.
Soldiers, sailors, airmen, and countless others in the need are helped in big ways and small by this man, whose heart knows no limits. Wherever American servicemen and women are in harm's way, he's right there to lend a helping hand.
His brilliance in business has allowed him to help others, and that's just what he does. Military men and women hold a special place in his heart. The guy's the real deal, and an inspiration to all of us. We could spend the next 3 hours up here telling stories about the good things Ross Perot has done for others, but instead of talking about it, let's watch just one more movie.
In 1969, up till 1969, probably in September 1969, POWs were not known by the general public. Government policy was, you will not talk about them. Even the wives and the families couldn't talk about them.
One day, my son, Richard, and I went to Mr. Perot's office. Shortly after that, he announced that he was going to embark upon a public campaign to draw attention to the men who were missing or captured in Southeast Asia.
And Ross, I think, realized by November that he wanted to take this issue and essentially try the North Vietnamese in a court of world opinion. Richard Nixon had a new policy that he was announcing called Vietnamization, And this is where the fighting was going to be turned over to the South Vietnamese. I think Ross at that time realized that the POW issue was one that was going to have to be addressed, mainly because Vietnamization is going to make these guys in prison a lot longer, because the war was going to last a lot longer. He, in working with the White House, set up a group called United We Stand.
One of our objectives of this whole thing was to separate the war issue from the POW issue. It had to be a humanitarian thing. So we never took any stand on the war itself.
That Christmas, December of '69, we put together the trip and tried to fly 30 tons of cargo into Hanoi.
Well, to my best belief, we were getting it over the loudspeaker, which played nearly 24 hours a day with communist propaganda, and they were talking about some business tycoon that wanted to try to get into their country and make contact with the POWs.
So the announcer, whose name was Tazum, came up on the radio and was complaining about Ross Pirate had done something or another. So naturally, they denounced that. Anything that would have made our life any better or happier was, that was out of the question.
I never knew the full story until later, how he lost millions during the time he was on these planes trying to bring medicine into us.
It's been overwhelming to try to grasp the magnitude of what one individual can do in this world. Ross, your commitment and your service to this nation is an example for everybody.
The uncommon richness in his service he attributes to the love, support, and encouragement of his parents and family. Ever the zealous Eagle Scout, president of the Student Council, and later class president, chairman of the Honor Committee, and battalion commander at the U.S. Naval Academy. Founder of 2 successful technology service organizations, which continue to operate today. Author of 7 titles: husband, father to 5, grandfather to 15, and a friend to ever so many, often anonymously.
This nation is blessed to have a man of such generosity and compassion as Mr. Ross Perot.
Everything that he has done for the United States military, he has avoided the spotlight. In fact, he has put the focus on the military service members and their families.
He campaigned tirelessly to bring home the U.S. POWs in Southeast Asia. He's mounted daring rescues, recounted in Ken Follett's On Wings of Eagles. He continues today as a voice of reason and guardian angel to so very many.
What moves his heart is that he has a deep understanding of the sacrifices that the men and women make who serve this nation.
I can tell you that in each and every case I have seen Mr. Perot act spontaneously, with great compassion, selflessly, and very, very generously.
Ross Perot continues to aid and serve hundreds of thousands of active and retired military and their families, physically, emotionally, and financially, often in ways they'll never know. Though you won't find his name on a building, a memorial, or the many awards he has sponsored, you'll find his mark on the countless lives he has touched, with a selfless motivation few will understand, and an unfailing commitment to God, country, and to the power of the human spirit set free.
It changes our lives, and we see that we also need to be like that. We need to just care for our fellow man.
Somebody that'll take time out of his life and money out of his own pocket to help other people, you won't find a better man than that.
This guy's heart is just red, white, and blue.
I think of Mr. Perot and his persistence in making sure that the right thing gets done.
Ross Perot is loyal. Ross Perot is
concerned about people who can't get help any other way.
He is an unsung hero of this country.
Ross Perot is the most disciplined, consistent.